Thank you, and thank you, Moku Roots. Let's make some noise for Lava Cake, everyone. And now, imagine taking a bite of that gooey, delicious lava cake and then public speaking. Not easy, dude. But I feel like this is like Oprah, but we have like access to the place, because she's like, you get a lava cake, I love it. It's great. So my name is Shane Nelson, but tonight I will be going as the alias of Shahane, which is a lot like Shane. It's spelled the same, but it's got a little S and a capital H. Shahane, which made labeling my underwear super easy growing up. I would just buy Hanes, and I'd take a Sharpie, and I'd write little S's on my Hanes. That way everyone would know that those underwear were property of Shahane's. Which also explains my nickname growing up, Chocolate Stain Shahane. I'm switching names. I go by a lot of names. I have a lot of mistaken identity situations. Like, I realize that I look like Gallagher. You think I look in the mirror before I leave my house? I'm like, nope, not Gallagher. I'm fully aware that I look like Gallagher. Also, my whole life, I've been told that I look like Jason Segel from How I Met Your Mother and Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I don't see it. People tell me that I look like Brendan Fraser from The Whale. I don't see it, and that hurts my feelings. People tell me I look like John Mayer. Like John Mayer? Nice. I'll take it. People tell me that I look like Jar Jar Binks. Sir, that I look like Jar Jar Binks. Misa no see it, dude. Mistaken identity. And it gets worse. Like, have you ever let someone call you by the wrong name and you don't correct them? Like, as a Shane, I get Sean a lot, and I'm just like, screw it, I'm Sean. One time, I was on South K Road, I meet a guy, he's like, what's your name? I said, Shahane. He's like, nice to meet you, James. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna let this one go. Little did I know, Maui is a small island, and this was 10 years ago, and I've seen this guy twice a week, every week, for the last 10 years. He'd be like, hey guys, this is my friend, King James. I'm like, Todd. Mistaken identity. I go to the same ABC store all the time. I have my local ABC store. We all have our like local gas station or our local ABC store. And I go there all the time. And after a while of going there all the time, one of the ladies was like, hey, I see you all the time. What's your name? I said Shahane. She said Charlemagne. I was like, I like it. We're going with it. So now, every time that I go to that ABC store, 6 Filipino women in unison say, Aloha Charlemagne. People stop what they're doing, they look around, they're like, who is Charlemagne? What does a Charlemagne even look like? It's the guy that looks like Gallagher. Keep him away from the fruit. One time, I was at the ABC store, and I was having my Rain Man moment, where I was comparing the prices of fluid ounces of coconut water, like real rate, like, bah, and this man comes up behind me and taps me on the shoulder. And when I turn around, I startle this man. He jumps back, and he goes, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I thought you were my wife. I'm 6'4". I'm 220 pounds. And I was in a hurry that day. I'd been Rain Manning for way too long. And it was time to go. But now I had to stick around and see just how ugly this man's wife is. Because if she looks like me, it's like, dude, you could do better. So I stick around. She shows up. And you guys aren't going to believe this. This is crazy. This lady shows up. And it turns out, she's actually super handsome. She looked like Gallagher and John Mayer had a baby. Striking. Now, before I get too carried away, I do want to take a moment and talk about dogs. Because that's part of the reason when Alexa reached out, I was like, hell yeah, I want to be a part of this, because I love dogs. Dogs are a part of all aspects of my life. Like even like, I was at the courthouse the other day. I know, big surprise. Personal reasons. And I walk into the courthouse in Wailuku. This is 100% true. If you walk into the courthouse in Wailuku, you look immediately to your right. There's a sign on the wall at the courthouse that says, impersonating a service animal is against the law. Ruh-roh. I'm in trouble. I got that dog in me. You know? I do foster dogs from the Maui Humane Society. I'm on my 5th foster dog of the year. And thank you. And right now I have a pit bull Ridgeback. Wow. And he's got 3 legs. And he's got the biggest heart in the world. And his name is Bentley, but he pronounces it because he's also a dog. Bentley and I, we've had like, it took a month, like he had been abused, so it took him like a month to trust me. And like he was also, came from a high stress situation. Like they do a great job there, but still a high stress location, especially when they're full to the gills. And the other day I was walking Bentley on the beach and he ran into one of the other dogs from the Maui Humane Society. And it was so cool seeing them like recognize each other. Where the other dog is like, look, he's like, Bentley? Is that you? He's like, me and this guy used to share a cell together, man. Me and Bentley used to run the yard, dude. They were all stoked to see each other. And after that, I feel like I watched Bentley like learn to love and trust again. He's hanging out with me, he's seeing his boys from the pound, Things are looking up for Bentley. And he deserves it. He's a really good boy. And I knew that he loved me back, like that he actually trusted me, when he started getting sad when I would leave the house. And like, at first he didn't care. He would just be like, whatever. But then he started like moping. I'd leave and he'd be like, oh, dude. And I was like, why is he so sad when I leave? Like, I'm kind of cool, but I'm not like cool enough to mope, And then I realized that like for Bentley, every time when I take Bentley with me, we're going on Bentley errands. Like we're going for a walk at the park. If I take Bentley, that means we're going for a walk at the beach. We're going for a pup cup. Those are Bentley errands. So when he sees me leaving without him, he's like, really? You're going for a walk at the park? I was like, no, dude, I'm going to the post office. Bentley doesn't understand our kind of errands, Like, he doesn't understand I'm standing in line at the post office. I'm standing in line at FedEx. Bentley doesn't understand international trade. You know what I'm saying? There's something else about Bentley I want to... Oh, yeah. You know what? I'm not going to do too many dog jokes, even though it's a dog night. I'm going to talk about love for a second. You guys want to talk about love? Yeah. So I recently had one of those first kisses again, like the first kiss that like tightens your chest, those ones. And so we had known each other for about 2 months, and we hadn't kissed yet. And we're at my house, and we're watching Animal Planet on the couch. And we're eating cheese. And I look over, and next thing you know, our eyes are locked. We're face to face, and our eyes are locked. And I can kind of feel it's about to happen. I was like, is this it? Are we doing this? And then he looks back at me. Obviously, I'm not about to kiss a girl. I'm about to kiss Bentley for the first time. But this is before I knew he liked me back. Like he's still pretty fresh out the pen, and he's a pit bull Ridgeback. He's got the jowls of a hyena, and we're face to face, and he's a little sketchy at this point. And I'm like, is this about to happen? Are we gonna do this? And then he put his paw on my hand and he's like, you don't have a choice. You're my bitch now. I do feel super lucky to live here on Maui. How lucky. Like this sunset tonight, that was unreal, dude. Make some noise for the sun. Man, and I feel so lucky because, like, also think about why we're all here together. We're here to eat good food that's grown here on Maui. We're here for comedy and here to support animals. It doesn't like get any more aloha than that. And that's what I love about living on Maui is the aloha. And that's one of the first things that you learn about when you move here is aloha. And then you learn mahalo, right? And then once you live here long enough, you start to learn the street names and the towns. Like I remember the day I learned Welkahau and Haleakala. That was a big day, you know? And then I learned my favorite street name on island. We all have the same favorite street name. Pu'unene. Who doesn't love Pu'unene? Right? But even after, I've lived here for more than 10 years and I still don't know all the towns or all the street names on this island. Like the other day I called up my local buddy. And I was like, "Ho, bro, where do you stay?" And he said, "I stay at Napa Now." And I was like, "Napa Now? Is that Wailuku side?" And he goes, "No, bro. I'm at Napa right now." I was like, "Oh, Napa Now. Is that Napa Wailuku side? I'm O'Reilly now." Napa Now. I feel like all my dreams are coming true living on Maui. I live on Maui. I have a good job. I have a nice house. And then one thing I've always wanted, I finally have. When I was growing up, I always wanted an ant farm. Do you remember ant farms? Everyone's here is familiar with ant farms. When I was a kid, I really wanted one, but my parents never let me get one. But now, I'm 32 years old. I have my own job, my own house, and guess what? I have an ant farm. It's free range. My house is full of ants. And it's become a problem. The other night, I was laying in my living room on the couch, I was smoking some weed, and I was watching the ants on the wall. And I started to wonder, I was like, am I in danger? Like, how many ants until I'm in danger? So I Googled it, and if you Google this, there's a calculator online, and if you put in your height, you put in your weight, you put in your sex, how much you have sex, a lot. And it will tell you how many ants it takes to be in danger. 250,000 ants could pick me up and carry me away. That's the number. Ants are incredibly strong. I am 20,000 ants away from disaster. I am 20,000 ants away from waking up in a Gulliver situation, tied to my bed. Uh-oh. Surrounded by an army of ants. Imagine, for a moment, me tied to my bed, surrounded by an army of ants. And there's a little prince ant on my nose, the prince of the ants. And he has a rapier, which is a type of sword. And he says to me, "Oi, you left some butter and jam out on the counter. I built an army." You're probably wondering, "Shane, how did you come up with your ant accent?" Marijuana. Also, ants and British people have a lot in common. Are you British or are you an ant? Well, by the end of the night, we'll find out if this man is full of ants or if he's British. We're going to talk about what you guys have in common. Both ants and British people are colonizers. They have a queen. They have terrible teeth. They have terrible taste in food too. Both. I bet there's some ants here too. Both ants and British people will see bread and beans left out overnight. And they'll get excited. Bread and beans. What'd you have for breakfast, sir?
Beans on toast.
Beans on toast for those of you in the back. I'm starting to think you are an ant, but... I did my ant joke at a show recently, and afterwards a woman came up to me and she's like, "Hey, I'd like to learn more about your ants." And I was like, "I'll tell you everything." My ants have wings and they eat wood. And she's like, "Whoa, dude." She's like, "You don't have ants, you have termites." I was like, "Hold on a second." I pulled out my phone. I was like, "How many termites until I'm in danger?" I'm in danger, dude. 230,000 is a lot of termites. I wish ants were my biggest problem, but they're not. They're my smallest. Don't support that. I have a giant spider in my bathroom. He always right. Does anyone else here have a giant spider in my bathroom? He does. Technically, my nephew does. It's like a really big, scary spider. And it's like big and scary enough that when I saw it, I called up my dad, who lives in Minnesota. And I was like, "Dad, I got a really big, scary spider in my bathroom." And my dad said, "Well, you're 32 years old and I'm in Minnesota." So I was like, "What do I do, Dad?" And he's like, "Well, here's my rule. If the spider has a web, I let it live. If it's a free range spider, you kill it." I was like, "Got it. Kill the homeless ones." Thank you. Do you know a homeless person, or do you have a spider in your bathroom? My family does live in Minnesota though, and I see them about once a year, and it's really cool. I have a 9-year-old nephew, and he's super cute to talk to on the phone. He's that age where he has like that cute voice still. Where like I'll call him up, and he's so excited when I call him up. He'll answer the phone and be like, "Hello? Hello, it's Uncle Shane. Hello." He's all stoked. I'm like, "You kind of sound like Mickey Mouse, dude." Just kinda. It's weird though, as a 32-year-old dealing with my parents though, because no matter how old your parents get, they are always your parents, right? You always have that relationship. Even as a 32-year-old, my dad will sometimes try to control me. It's just the way it is. Like the other day, I was smoking some weed on the couch, watching the ants march by. And my dad's like, "Hey man, I feel like you're smoking too much weed." I was like, "Dude, I'm just smoking weed here and there." Like here and there. I'm smoking weed everywhere. I smoke weed with goats on boats. I smoke weed in parades on floats. I smoke weed near and far. I'll smoke more weed when I leave this farm. I smoke weed in blunts and bongs. I smoke weed with cunts and thongs. I smoke weed on planes and trains. I smoke weed in mirrors with Shahanes. I was like, "Dad, what do you think about my poem?" And he said, "It sounds like you're smoking a lot of weed. And I'm afraid it's gonna make you lazy." I was like, "Weed doesn't make me lazy, dude. If anything, it makes me creative." Like the other day, I smoked some weed, and I put my car keys in the most creative place. I was like, "Dad, I need a ride." He's like, "Maybe lazy is the wrong word." He's like, "I feel like when you smoke weed, all you do is lounge around." I was like, "Lounge? Lounge?" I'm like, "Lounge is a crazy word, dude." Because if you think about it, to lounge is to relax. It's the action of relaxation. But at the same time, a lounge is also a piece of furniture that you can relax on. Meanwhile, in addition, a lounge is also a room or a building that you relax in. Yeah.
Wow.
So in theory, I could lounge on a lounge, in a lounge, in a lounge. All around year round, I could lounge. I could lounge with a smile or a frown. If I were a vampire, I would lounge upside down in a black gown and crown. Lounge. My dad said, "Maybe it does make you creative." Thank you, Pa. Dating here on Maui is something else. Once again, it's a very small island. That's a thing. And we're gonna need this in a moment. And as the second funniest person on Maui, some argue the first, sometimes I do get recognized here. Like the other day I was at McKenna first entrance and I was drinking beers with my friends in the parking lot. He was there. And this young lady came up to me and she's like, Charlemagne? She worked at the ABC store. She goes, Charlemagne, I saw you do stand-up and I think you're super funny and handsome. And then she, over my board shorts, over my swimming trunks, grabbed my wiener. Pretend this is my wiener. Long and thin, like the ladies like it. They do. She grabs my wiener, dude. In front of all my friends, I was sexually assaulted. Fast forward 1 week later, and we're on a date. That's right, I got her number. She grabbed me, I looked at my buddies, I was like, you guys think she's interested? I'm really bad at picking up the little signs. Yeah, but no, we go on a date, we go to Cafe de Ami in Paia. They have crepes and Mediterranean. What a combination. And this is true, this girl, she shows up to the date in crochet. From head to toe. Head to toe crochet. Crochet shoes, crochet shorts, a crochet top, a little crochet Peter Pan hat. It was like I was on a date with a wood elf, which I'm into. And she sits down and she says to me, if at any point my nipples poke out, yeah, he's right. Please let me know. And I was like, your nipples have been out the entire time. And there's no way your nipples could ever stay in. You're wearing crochet.
She needs silicone nipple covers.
I would tell her that. I'm going to start carrying them. I'm going to put these on. I thought the date went well. So I called her back a few days later and I was like, hey, what do you think about a second date? And she said, actually, since our date, I quit smoking weed. I quit drinking, doing drugs, and having sex with strangers. She said that date was my rock bottom. I was like, rock bottom? That was the best day of my life. It's crazy how like one person's low point can be another person's peak, you know? Like she's sitting there, she's looking at me and she's thinking, I need to sober up. And I'm on the other side of the table and I'm eating my crepes and I'm looking at her nipples. And I'm like, today can't get no more better. Rock bottom, dude. It'd be one thing if it's like the only rock bottom of my life. Tree bra. 3 rock bottoms in my day. And after the second one, it started to feel like I was like living at rock bottom, possibly. Like I must be residing at rock bottom. Because these women, they would hit rock bottom. And I'd already be there. I'd be like, aloha. Welcome to rock bottom. Let me show you round rock bottom. We have all the crepes that you can eat at rock bottom. Sounds like a good thing. It's a problem. Rock bottom. I dated this girl during COVID, and this is definitely a rock bottom situation, where she was a billionaire. I dated a billionaire for a year. Not a millionaire, a billionaire. Like, she owns an NBA team. She'd take a private jet out here. Like, the kind of money where they're not the same as us. They are different, in case you're wondering. Like, one time we went out to dinner, and she orders this lemon spritzer vodka beverage. And she smells it before she drinks it. And she's like, oh my gosh, Charlemagne, you have to smell this. And I smell it, and I was like, what are you smelling? And she goes, it has that new airplane smell. A human said that to me. Like, she meant it. Like, I was like, new airplane? That's not relatable. I've never smelled a new car. The only new smell I know is new Kmart shoes. Kmart's been out of business for like 20 years. It's not relatable at all. We would have these dinner parties at their house. They had a mansion in McKenna, and they had an infinity pool with a water slide to another pool. And they'd have these dinner parties, and I would be the only one using the water slide. For real, like, and like at one point she got upset with me. She's like, "Yo, cool it on the water slide." I was like, "There's no line." Nice. I went to Minnesota. Has anyone here ever been to Minnesota? You raise your hands because you're so nice. They don't even. There's no woo or anything in Minnesota. Okay. Oh, that's us. Last time I was in Minnesota, people in Minnesota are generally pretty nice, right? And I was like pushing a shopping cart in a grocery store, and I ran over this girl's foot, and she goes, "Oh, I'm sorry." I was like, "Don't let it happen again." They're super nice there. Well, I guess maybe not all of them. Last time I went there was in the summertime, right after the George Floyd thing. I like how the air got sucked. We're outside and the air got sucked out. I'm gonna skip the George Floyd joke. Am I? Send it. Okay, it's not even that bad. It's because it's a true story. Some of my family are on one side of the line, some are on the other side. So I went to a family reunion, and there were some family members who were like, "If you can talk, you can breathe. If you can talk, you can breathe." Like they kept saying that over and over again. Fast forward 6 months later, they're wearing a mask, and they're like, "I can't breathe in my mask." If you can talk, you can breathe. Goes both ways. Can't pick and choose. At that family reunion, my aunt came up to me, and she's like, "Hey, Shaheen, your cousin has cancer." And my 16-year-old cousin was diagnosed with cancer, and he was given a year to live. And my aunt told me that his make-a-wish, or like one of his final wishes, is he wanted to try magic mushrooms. And she's like, "Can you get your cousin some magic mushrooms?" And I was like, "I for sure have the connection, but I don't know if I want to give drugs to a kid, you know?" And she's like, he's got a year to live. It's just like he just wants to open up his mind and experience this. And so by raise of hands, who here would think it'd be okay in this situation? He's a 16-year-old. He's got 1 year to live. Is it okay to give him magic mushrooms? And that's how I felt. I was like, you know what, dude? He's got a year, like, he's 16 years old, but he's like 80 in cancer years, you know? Now, let's say, I thought you guys would go down more. It gets better. It doesn't. It gets worse. Let's say my cousin changes his wish, and he says, "You know what? I'm 16 years old. I've never had sex." Sex is one of like the greatest things we can experience in our life. Is it okay to buy a 16-year-old a prostitute? He's got a year to live. He's never had sex. Is it okay to buy him? I see some hands up.
It's probably okay.
Yeah. Right? Right? Okay. Let's say he changes his wish one more time. And he's like, I've got a year to live. I've never had sex. I'd like to have sex with you, miss. You raise your hand for the prostitute. My 16-year-old cousin has a year to live and he wants to have sex with you. What would you tell him?
I would have to decline. I'd recommend somebody else for it.
Oh! How would you find the recommendation? Okay. Well, I will say, this was a test, and I'm a cop. No. But that is the correct answer. I've done this to quite a few people. And you're supposed to say no, because yeah, he's got a year to live, but you don't. That's 80 in prison years. Right? One time on Big Island, actually in Kona, someone's like, "I'll do it." And I was like, "Dude, I'm gonna call my cousin." He's gonna be stoked. I wrote that joke 3 years ago. He was a good dude. He's dead, is what I'm saying. Thank you.
So did you get him a girl?
He died a virgin. Very high on mushrooms, though. All right. I'm gonna bring this back. What? Oh, perfect. I got 2 more things for you, and we'll get you guys out of here before it gets too cold. My dad. He's been married for like 35 years to my mom. Thank God. And he likes to ask me questions about the dating world, and I have to tell my dad, I'm like, Dad, dude, my man, things are different. Like, do you guys remember back in the day when it was an insult to call someone a butt licker? No, it's not. Nowadays, the younger generation, nowadays people are proud butt lickers. The kids call it eating ass, miss. I know. Why are you covering your ears? Do you know about this? Do you know about eating ass, miss? She does. Kids call it eating ass, dude. And when I told my dad, he was as shocked as you were, miss. He's like, really? You're out there licking butts? I was like, yeah, I'm licking butts, dude. He's like, well, you take girls on dates, or are you just out there licking their butts? And I said, we can't go on dates. Because let's say you go out for sushi, and an hour later you're licking butt? Eating sushi and licking butt? That's how you get salmonella. I can tell you guys are all looking at me like I'm a butt licker. I've seen this look before. I've never licked a butt. Never licked a butt. Scout's honor. Honestly, I've never licked a butt. But I've been this close. I was right there, dude. And I was looking at it. And then it looked back at me. And I thought, you're cute. But I just don't know. So I decided to blow on it. You know, a quick. And what I expected to happen. Have you guys ever blown into a cat's face? If you blow into a cat's face, like in a cat's face, they'll put their ears back and they're like, get away from me. Right? That's what I expected to happen. It's not what happened. It blew back. And it sounded like this. Oka choka tika solo. Job of the butt. Some jokes I write for me, and that's one of them. I started with job of the butt and worked backwards. I didn't talk about imperfections yet, did I? No, okay, we'll do that and then my finishing joke. Because this is important. I am in a relationship now with a woman, not just Bentley. And we're in the very beginning stages of our relationship where it's like, what do they call it? Like where you're in like la la of love. Honeymoon phase. And we're in that relationship where she even said to me, she's like, I love your imperfections. She's like, I love it when you get so stoned you can't function. I was like, do you? Give that one a month. See if you still love that. She's like, I love when you wake me up with farts in the night. It's so cute when they make me, it's so cute. You farts make me gag. I was like, give that one a week. That's gonna fade fast. And now, I also I have a different point of view than all of you. When I just did that fart joke, there was a lot of pointing going on in this crowd. I saw that. I'm not gonna point it out because you're... I'm not the only farter, though, it looks like. That makes me feel good. I do eat magic mushrooms. Every now and then. Like every now and then, I'm eating magic mushrooms all the time, right? And I do so. I'm not gonna do a poem again. I like to microdose though. And I microdose because there's studies that show that taking microdoses of mushrooms helps turn on neuron receptors in your brain and you can learn new things easier. And I need all the learning I can get. So I called up my buddy. I was like, "Oh, bro, where are you staying?" I was like, "Napa now." And I was like, "Let's do some mushrooms right now." So we get together and we eat 7 grams of mushrooms each. Yeah. 2 hours later, we're speaking Chinese. I looked at my buddy, I was like, "Ni hao, dude." He's like, "Ni hao, dude." And I was like, "Dude, while we're still tripping, let's learn another language." And he's like, "What language should we learn?" I was like, "Dude, we live in Hawaii. The answer is obvious." We learned whale, dude. After we learned whale, I thought it'd be really cool to learn some turtle. So I'm gonna share turtle with you guys. I'm just kidding. You can't learn turtle in a day. Turtle's a slowly spoken language. I tried that joke on my parents, and trying a joke on my mom's always a really good idea because I have a very supportive mom. I was like, "Mom, what do you think of my joke?" And she's like, "First off, you're very handsome and funny. Also, your whale noise, perfect. And I think it's super funny that you can learn Chinese, which I assume you meant Mandarin. Funny. In 2 hours, but you can't learn turtle in a day. That's just really, really funny, Shaheen." And I was like, "Dad, what do you think?" And my dad said, "It sounds like you're smoking a lot of it." My name's Shane Nelson. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Thank you, Moku Roots. Thank you, Alexa. Make sure to send a bunch of money to that Venmo account right there. Aloha.